Welcome to It Takes Two. I'm Blair.
And I'm Chris.
And today we'll be talking about the Braxtons, Season 2, Episodes 7 and 8, the finale.
The finale, a 2-hour finale. Blair, are you ready for this review?
Yeah, let's get to it.
Let's get to it.
Tamar meets with her music producer engineer. She has an EP she's releasing. They're helping her choose a single, and she wants a Grammy.
Okay.
We move on to Trina, who is the only sister at Towanda's rehearsal dinner. After the dinner, Towanda and Sean will be separating and won't see each other again until the wedding the next day.
Okay, that's very traditional.
Yes. So we get to wedding day. Towanda is trying to make her speech about how much she values her husband. I think this was at the rehearsal dinner.
Yeah.
And Trina ends up chiming in and kind of standing behind Towanda's shoulder. So we get to the wedding day, and Sean's groomsmen parked in the wrong spot. Tawanda's pissed. They have him move the car. I will say they did give an announcement, and I don't know why some people, maybe he wasn't there for the announcement, or some people think that if they don't know why, it doesn't matter. But I would have been just as irritated. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, truth be told, even though Towanda, based on what we've seen throughout this season, we didn't really see her be a bridezilla, in my opinion. Yeah. Especially on levels that I've seen it in person. She flipped out when she saw that car there. Yeah. And in my head, I'm like, why did production let him park there? Why did people everybody was there before Towanda, and I'm sure they knew the rules. Hey, guy, groomsman, Sean, you know the rules. Let your men know. Do not park in my parking spot. You get what I'm saying? Hey, It is what it is.
So her oldest son couldn't come because he is graduating from the Navy today. I did think to myself, I wonder when she got the news of the graduation and if she could have moved the wedding date. Yeah. I don't know if the wedding date is specifically an important date, but I did kind of wonder to myself, I wonder why she couldn't have made it a different day so she could be at his graduation.
Yeah, there is a little questionable action there. The only thing that could come to mind is, if he went to Naval Academy or if he went to basically to join the Navy, you pretty much know when your graduation is going to be ahead of time. I'm guessing maybe the schedule conflicts with when they can book the venue. Maybe, you get what I'm saying? It's not like they having this wedding inside somebody's house. It have to do with the venue. So, it was kind of sketchy, but it is what it is.
So Towanda,
shout out to him.
Yeah, so Tawanda's crying in the dressing room. It's because she's looking at this handkerchief with Traci's signature on it that she's going to put into her bouquet. So it just all started to overwhelm her. Trina believes it's also because the sisters have a fractured relationship right now as well.
Yeah, I don't think it have nothing to do with the sisters having a fractured relationship. I think it have everything to do with Traci. Yeah. Did you have a problem with how she showed her emotion in that time with her crying like that?
No.
Me neither.
I think it's grief. I think that it can come in many different ways and in times you don't expect it to. So And
we heard Trina and some of the other sisters even say Tawanda's not the type to really cry like that. And one thing about grief is it's patient. You get what I'm saying? It will wait for you until you are having the happiest time of your life, and then you would think, oh, man, I wish this person was here, or I wish that person was here. And it can overtake you. So I have no problem with her actually showing that emotion. It may have seemed weird because it just seems out of nowhere. This is going to be the happiest day of your life, and you're sobbing the way you are. But like I said, grief is patient.
Yeah, so Toni does arrive.
Finally.
We see them get married. They even have a little makeout session. Tamar meets up with her medium. So she shares with the medium that she talked to Toni. Trina and Toni are willing to come to this retreat. Towanda will not come. Tamar does want to resolve everything, and she asks the medium if she thinks that the sisters will all think this is kind of a little too woo-woo. Yeah. The medium believes, based off of her readings, that Trina wants everyone to apologize and take accountability, and Toni wants the family whole again. The only issue I have with this is, Tamar, you know your sisters better than anybody else.
Facts.
So how are you going to ask this lady what you think her sisters are going to react like or be like? You know your sisters. So I don't know. Tamar throws me through a loop sometimes. No. I'm like, is this just for conversation or scene's sake? Because, like, you know your sisters. So.
Here's 100% your point. Here's the thing about it. I know we have some Tamar Braxton apologists in the comments and things like that. And I think people need to understand that everybody plays a part in the way their relationship is, right? Toni plays a part. One thing that I've noticed about Toni is that Towanda made it very clear that, hey, I do not want Tamar at my wedding. I have not I took the invite back. She's not going to be here, right? Toni knows how fractured that relationship is. In my opinion, I think Toni's favorite sister is Tamar. I think they have a special bond that is different than Trina. Trina kind of treats Toni like a celebrity. Towanda kind of treats Toni as if it's like, this is my big sister, but at the same time, I want her to be there for me. And when she's not there, it kind of feels like a mentor is letting me down. Tamar's the only one that doesn't treat Toni like a celebrity. She kind of throw little jabs in there, trying to humble her. You get what I'm saying? I think there's something wrong with Toni keeps saying, I wish Tamar was here. I want Tamar to be at the wedding, knowing that this is Tawanda's biggest day. And in some ways, I view that as passive-aggressive. The same way as I view what Tamar doing right here as passive-aggressive. The same way as the medium was talking about, based on my readings, Trina wants to apologize and take accountability. Whoa. So automatically, you putting in Tamar's head that she's right, and that she should be expecting that she should be accepting an apology from her sisters, or at least from Trina, besides actually giving an apology, taking some accountability, and actually trying to come to some level playing ground with all of your sisters, because all your sisters are different, and y'all all dislike each other for different reasons, So
she asked Tamar if she's willing to apologize for anything, and Tamar says that she is not above saying I'm sorry. The producer asked if Tamar has anything to apologize for, and she apologizes for being so emotional that she couldn't keep it together to have a sensible conversation. She didn't remind them that they were sisters. She's not here to interrogate them, but she wants to move forward. And the medium advises her not to be defensive and to stay open.
Do you accept that apology that Tamar was given in the confessional?
If the apology doesn't say, I'm sorry for putting my hands and feet on you, That's not enough of an apology for me.
Facts.
Like, I get you want to apologize for how upset you got, or maybe because somebody did something to you, you felt like you were in the right to do something to them, but you need to apologize for putting hands and feet on people.
Exactly. Especially if y'all didn't grow up that way.
Yeah.
I think Tamar, even in her apology in the confessional, when the producer said, do you have anything to be sorry for? She says, I'm pausing because I want to be intentional, meaning she wanted to choose her words, right? To me, the apology was glass half full to me, right? Because in its own unique Tamar way, it serves her. She basically said, I am sorry for not being able to control my emotions when I felt like y'all was coming after me and things like that.
It's always based on a personal attack.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's like, okay, what are some of the things you did out of you being out of control of your emotions? Like Blair said, you kicked somebody, you pulled their hair, you get what I'm saying? So it's like you had accusations with no proof, so there's things when it comes to apologies that let people know that you're really sorry, and one of the things that let people know that you're really sorry is specifics, not just vagueness and just talking in basically big terms and things like that. Like, I'm sorry, Trina, for doing this to you. Toni, I'm sorry for doing this to you. Towanda, I wish our relationship was better. What are some ways that I can do, that I can show up better for our relationship to be better if you want to reconcile?
Yeah. So we're at the cocktail hour, it looks like, at the wedding. And apparently, Trina, she's walking around talking, meet and greeting people. And Dr. Brown tells Trina, why is Vaughn here? I called him at 7:00 this morning to go to the hospital because his potassium levels were high. He needs to be in the hospital. So they're walking out to go to the hospital. Producers are trying to stop Trina and Vaughn just to try to get a word or something before they head out and leave. And Trina is like, we have an emergency. We do not have time to be talking. But Vaughn wants to make it known that he feels great. He wants them to know, like, because other men may be in the same predicament to where they feel fine and they don't want to listen to their doctors. So he lets them know, this is how stupid that I've been being about my health. And then they go to the hospital.
What is your thoughts on this?
I was glad to see it because it's a reality.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew a lady who was a nurse, whose husband had diabetes. And she was working with him and trying to help him stay on top of his stuff. And he just refused. She came home from work one day and he was dead in the middle of their home.
Wow.
So there is something to men, and I don't know what it is, to where they feel like they know best beyond the doctors, beyond other health professionals, even in their family, that can provide recommendations for them to try to stay as healthy as possible, because of course you love them and want to spend your life with them.
Yeah.
So I was actually happy to see it. I was frustrated along with Trina that Vaughn decided to ignore a critical lab value and go to the wedding because he didn't want to ruin the day.
Yeah.
When the worst part of the day would have been if you would have lost your life.
100%.
So I hated to see it, but I'm glad it was there. Yeah.
Here's my problem. I go back to that apple fritters conversation.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? That he gets from St. Louis. I don't know what Vaughn is thinking, especially if he hears from the doctor, especially if the doctor is like a close family friend at that too. She's probably gonna be at the wedding. You get what I'm saying? He should have went to the hospital. There should have been a conversation, and there should have been some type of compromise between him and Trina, right? His thinking was, if I go to the hospital, I'm gonna ruin the wedding, meaning that Trina's not gonna go, and that will ruin it for Towanda because she want her sister to be there. Fair. Yeah. Right. I'm not going to act like Vaughn. That's not logical thinking to a point. Right. But this is where the compromise need to come in. I was a caretaker of my father. Right. And the only peace of mind that I had when taking care of him for years was when he had to be admitted to the hospital. Right. So there could have been a compromise or a conversation, and you need to trust your partner to have the conversation. To be like, hey, Trina, I'm in the hospital. I have to go to the hospital. The doctor told me I have to go to the hospital. This is what I want you to do. I want you to still support your sister. You get what I'm saying? If you want to find a compromise to where you're there for the wedding, but you leave for the reception, that's fine. But I'm just going to let you know, I'm going to be in the safest place that I can be.
Yes.
And that's the hospital. Yeah. So if you want to stay the whole night, I have no problem with that. If you want to come after the ceremony itself, I have no problem with that. But I'm going to the hospital. And that's going to be the safest place for me to be, besides trying to wait till the next day because you like, I don't want to ruin the wedding, you know?
Yeah. So we see the reception. Towanda doesn't see Trina.
No, she don't.
And Toni is trying to find a good time to tell Towanda. But Towanda can tell something is off. Miss Evelyn is enjoying Larry as her date, but he ain't all that.
She just want to let y'all know. Listen here. I thought the whole reception was hilarious to me when it came down to Toni, because Toni, when it came down to the bridal shower, you didn't show up to be a sister. When it came down to all the other stuff, the party over in Tulum, you didn't show up to be a sister. And now you're the only sister there.
Yep.
Right? Trina's not there to be a buffer. Tamar's not invited, and you know they're beefing. So now you kind of look like you don't know how to handle the situation, because you really never had to handle anybody else because you're Toni the Braxton, right? So I found it very hilarious that Toni's like, what should I do? Like, do I say something? To me, I think people was overthinking it, because, you know, I've been married before to my wife and things like that. I ain't thinking about nobody at that wedding reception except for myself and my wife. So I think Towanda would have took it like easily, especially since she knows about his health issues already.
Yeah.
Just tell her, like, Trina had to go to the hospital with Vaughn for an emergency on his behalf, and then let her actually like know that, so she don't think the whole time where's Trina, so she can enjoy the rest of her night.
Yeah. So Toni does eventually tell Towanda that Trina is at the hospital with Vaughn. Towanda totally understands, but she wishes somebody would have told her sooner so she wouldn't have to be asking all night.
Exactly.
And I think that's the thing that gets me with this family, is that it's like they call themselves wanting to keep secrets to protect each other, let alone these are big grown adult women who understand and who aren't going to crumble at the drop of bad news.
Yeah.
You know, I think all of them have dealt with tough situations and trying times, and the lying and the secrecy, I feel like, only adds damage to the relationship. And the mom doesn't help, because she said, don't tell her until everything's over. I mean, personally, I can see why you would say that, but if Towanda is asking, I don't see why you need to lie.
Yeah. The mother was like, dude, like, you want me to do it? I think, truth be told, the mother answer was motivated by, hey, I'm tired of talking about this, dude. You want me to do it so you don't have to keep asking me?
Yeah.
The thing about this family, which is weird, they major the minor. Like, this is such a minor thing to actually relate to Towanda. Hey, she's not here because her husband's sick. period, right?
Yeah.
This is not going to make Towanda put on shoes and run after Trina. Mm-hmm. She's going to stay there and enjoy her marriage with Sean. So, yeah, but, I give Toni a little grace because Toni, for this whole season, she wasn't being the best sister. And now she was the only sister there, and she didn't know how to be a sister,
So we move on to another day.
Yeah.
And the doctor meets with Vaughn and Trina. She's going over the fact that she told him to go to the hospital, and it wasn't until another doctor told him that he actually went. She tells him that this is not a recommendation. This is basically live or die.
Yeah.
He, of course, he has heart failure, but he also has early onset kidney disease. Mm-hmm. And Vaughn knows he made a mistake and it's not going to happen again. Trina is hoping that he will listen to the doctor in the future.
I wonder, and I have no proof, I wonder, was the other doctor a man?
It sounded that way to me.
Because
it sounded that way to me.
And I'm only saying that based off of what Dr. Brown, what her reaction was.
Yeah.
Because her reaction, not only was she upset at the fact that he didn't go to the hospital, she was upset that you went to get like a second opinion from like another doctor when I told, and that person just said exactly what I said.
Yeah.
But it sounded more across the lines of, did you talk to a male doctor? And you didn't, and basically whatever that person said, you listen to them. But when it comes to your doctor, a woman, you ain't listen to me. That's weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that was definitely a part of it. And I mean, I don't know. I just really, I really feel for Trina and the fact that she's trying to be a support, but he is in a way actively working against everything that she's trying to do. And I'm hoping that he does acknowledge and understand that he's making bad decisions so that way he can be there to be with his family for as long as he can.
Yeah.
So
hold on. Before we get to the retreat, I just want to put in this little note. Scratchy. Remember Scratchy from last season?
Yeah, he wasn't at the wedding.
He wasn't at the wedding, but he was invited to the wedding.
Okay.
Right? He was invited. His father was invited. They was invited to the wedding. I don't know about the father, but he was invited, but he couldn't go because unfortunately his girlfriend had a miscarriage. Oh. So he was there taking care of her, being there for her and things like that. But he did put a statement out saying that, Towanda, I did get an invite to the wedding. I just couldn't make it.
Okay.
And things like that.
All right. Good to know.
Yeah.
So we get to the retreat. It's Trina, Toni, and Tamar.
Mm-hmm.
Tamar asked him how the wedding was. When's Towanda going to be back? She's just, checking in to see how everything was going. And pretty much everybody's acting like they don't know. And Tamar low-key doesn't believe it because y'all telling me, like, Trina, you don't talk to Towanda. You don't know. And she's saying, literally, she's been gone, barely responding to text messages. We're not trying to be funny with you.
Yeah.
Tamar brings out a blow-up doll of Towanda. This is, I guess, a play on a joke they had when they were younger. When one of the sisters wasn't there, they would pretend that the sister was there but invisible. Mm-hmm. But they're actually enjoying each other, laughing. And Tamar calls out Toni eating a biscuit with a knife and a fork, saying, "You're married to Birdman. You're doing a lot." So Toni acts like she really can't talk about the status of her relationship.
And like I said, Trina acts like Toni is the celebrity. She said, "Are we talking about that?"
Yeah.
Tamar don't. That's why I think the way that they are split up, I think when it comes to who likes who the most, of course, Trina and Towanda, they are a pair, right? But I think Toni and Tamar is a pair because, number one, I think Toni respects Tamar's talent and gift as like a solo singer, but also it's just something about the baby sibling, especially the baby sister, that just humbles you, that cross all your boundaries and you really can't do nothing about it because that's the baby sister. You get what I'm saying? And also, the proof that I kind of feel like Toni likes Tamar a little bit more than all the other sisters. Don't get it twisted. I think if we was to actually measure all of them, I think if it was up to Toni, she said, if y'all wasn't my sisters, I wouldn't be friends with y'all. I think that's still actual. But since y'all are my sisters, I bang with Tamar more because all the other times that Towanda had all these events, Toni wasn't free to come. Now Toni's free to come to this retreat. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I was like, oh, Toni and Tamar are closer than they may let on, in my opinion.
So Tamar thinks they've been fighting for too long. They need to move on to the next chapter. And they are going to have some hard conversations. They're also going to do a sound bath while they're here.
Yeah.
Tamar talks about how Trina has anxiety. She has high blood pressure. And Trina tells us she didn't want to divulge this on camera. But Tamar says we were just talking about it. It's not like I'm revealing anything, am I? Toni says sometimes it's just better to say, okay, Tamar. And Tamar says, that's your way. That's not my way. And Trina says that she will talk about it to them off camera. Now, I did think that was a weird thing because we do see the clip, the flashback of Trina talking about how she's checking her blood pressure as well as Vaughn's, and she's taking her medication. I don't know if she thought that wasn't going to make it in. I really don't get why at the table Trina started acting funny. Maybe because she didn't bring it up. And Tamar was the one who brought it up. But I do feel in this situation that Tamar is wrongly, I'm not going to say attacked, but like wrongly just given static for bringing up something that really was nothing. So, yeah.
Yeah. How can I put it, right? Do you believe that the right message can be, what's the word? The right message can be ignored based on the messenger?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people's problems in this family amongst the sister, I think it is Tamar, right? I think Tamar plays a big part, not the only part, but I think she plays a big part in the relationship building amongst the sisters. So it does seem kind of, what's the word? Off-putting that she is leading the retreat where we kind of got a problem with you. You get what I'm saying? Maybe they could have brought a mediator in to lead the retreat and things like that, so Tamar can only be a participant, not only the leading the conversations. You get what I'm saying? What Tamar said wasn't wrong, but it was. She said, "Trina, you have anxiety. Your blood pressure is high." It's not Tamar's. It's not Tamar's business to give like that. You get what I'm saying?
So she shouldn't say it. Period.
She shouldn't have. That's Trina's business.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And if Trina, even though she may have shared it on camera in like another scene, but it just feels
it's not for you to say.
It's not for you to say.
Right.
Right. Mm-hmm. I'm not demonizing Tamar for doing it, but the thing about people's business is people want the freedom and the autonomy to share their news and things like that with whoever they're sharing it with. So Tamar just seems like she just in the lead too much. She's over here talking about Birdman. That's that's supposed to be our business, the watchers, the viewers of the show.
Yeah, they don't want to tell us nothing.
But at the same time, I
say cancel the show.
Okay, don't. Okay.
If y'all want to talk about nothing for real,
no, that's facts. Though. But my thing about it is who's married to Birdman? Toni, right? And if Toni don't want to talk about it, Tamar, you can't make people talk about it. You sharing that information, and if Trina don't want to talk about it, she don't want to talk about it. You get what I'm saying?
So they get together for the sound bath. They have a psychologist there who focuses on Black people getting past their traumas. Tamar says that Trina has never been to a sound bath. She's a Christian. And then Trina does speak up and say, let me speak for myself.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Her faith doesn't leave a lot of space for ambiguity, and she's going to give them a chance, but she's still very firm. So pretty much they start the exercise. Trina sitting up, they laying down. Trina ends up laying down, but she couldn't fully let herself go because she doesn't know what they was doing praying over her. So I will say this, and this may be nitpicky, and, for some of the people who think I hate Tamar,
help me.
Whoop-de-doo. I think that if you are trying to come to a place to where you're building a bridge with your sisters and you know that this may be your thing, but it's not their thing, I think it's a thing of kind of like sacrificing like your selfish or the things that you're into in order to make sure that everybody can find a way to feel connected. I think the psychologist by herself talking to them could have been something that was really helpful. And if Tamar knew that even, a sound bath or those types of things may rub Trina the wrong way, why have your sister in that space when you want her to be in a space of being comfortable? So I just thought it was a thing of Tamar just kind of being a little inconsiderate.
Yes. And that would come
even if it was well intentioned.
Yeah, but that leaves me that last part you said.
Yeah.
I don't know how well intentioned it was, because Tamar, you are not surprised by Trina being apprehensive to it. The medium told you. Do you think your sisters will be open to this whole
Tamar asked the medium that.
Yeah. And the whole thing about it is you knew your sister's a Christian, and you know what type of Christian she is. And you knew, to Blair's point, that you know what, how about I try to pick things that not only that I enjoy, but that we all can be open to.
Right.
That's why I think Tamar, even though her message may be right, her message is, I want to build a bridge that we are closer. The messenger is wrong. And I think if there was a mediator there, someone to lead it besides Tamar being the leader and the participant, it would have been open for all of them to just, you know what, let's just focus on bonding together besides listening to Tamar while she gives my information out whenever she wants to. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. So Trina would drive to Tamar's house, drive an hour and a half every Sunday to spend time, have football Sundays, eat, drink, and laugh. And Tamar asked what changed.
Yeah.
What changed is that Tamar sent out a text message saying that she didn't want anything to do with the Braxtons anymore.
Okay.
Tamar said that was after you sent the cease and desist trying to shut down her business. Trina stands firm that she didn't send it. And Tamar admits that she did lash out, but she felt like they didn't have her back because the attorney is their friend. And Trina is still saying she had nothing to do with it. Toni had nothing to do with it. And she's trying to figure out what Tamar means when you say you want me to defend you when it comes to the lawyer.
Yeah.
She says, call your friend and tell him to leave your sister alone. Are we on the playground? Can you just tell an attorney not to serve your sister if they are doing their job? I don't understand that.
But you gotta look at the context of who Tamar is. Tamar is used to being the baby, meaning like, hey, I feel like someone's picking on me. Defend me. You get what I'm saying? No, it's not right. There's some arrested development there and things of that nature. But the thing about Tamar is that she's like, I feel uncomfortable, and this is supposed to be your friend. Tell your friend, even though this is his, his job.
He's operating in his
and guess what?
Profession.
And guess what? The only person that he doesn't represent is not only Toni. I'm sure he represents other people, that he just can't stop his job because somebody feels some type of way about, oh, you're serving me and things like that. But it goes back to Tamar being a little self-centered,
Yeah. So Trina does admit that she gave the brother the attorney's information, but did not give out Tamar's address.
Yeah.
Tamar ends up apologizing because she thought that they were trying to take her down.
Stop right there for a second. Yeah. Right? Let's go back to the top. You don't have to scroll there, but I remember when she said that why did we stop football Sundays? Because Trina used to drive an hour and a half, and not only her, she said she used to bring the neighborhood with her too and things like that. She used to have a big time, a big fun time. And I think this is actually, I think they don't trust Tamar because based off of what the information that was given to us. Why did that happen? What happened? Well, it stopped because one day you just said you didn't want nothing to do with us, right? Yeah. I think Tamar is erratic sometimes. I think Tamar can be hot or cold. I don't think Tamar know how to regulate that middle ground. You get what I'm saying? And then people don't know how to really be with you, so they just be defensive. You know what?
I guess for me, it's like I think Tamar operates in reaction all the time. You can ask her why does she do something, and they say, well, it's because you did this, it's because you did that.
Yeah.
And it's just like, so you always react badly to situations that you don't necessarily know the full story or have the full information, but you're going to respond with the fact that don't nobody come to my house and talk to me anymore. So it's just like you're very reactive.
Yeah. And the thing about it is, if this was only a situation that we seen with her sisters, maybe I would believe Tamar a little bit more of like, okay, maybe they are gaslighting you. Maybe the way they trying to paint you in this way is not completely honest. But we seen Tamar in relationships outside of her sisters be erratic and be reactionary, right? And my thing about it is, I go back to Ashley about how she was on the show and how she was living with Tamar, and Tamar even said, hey, I apologize for not being in the right space mentally to basically be able to take on your burden and to be there for you. And that's a big thing for me because I'm like, Tamar, that happened years ago, right? I believe as an adult, not only a man, but as an adult, the same way as, hey, you need to be able to keep your hands free. And when I say hands, I mean it in a metaphor. Keep your hands free, know how to keep your mental healthy and things like that, because so you can be free to help other people, right? And it just seems like Tamar is always dealing with Tamar. And Tamar, you are not a little girl anymore. You are well into your past 30s and past 40s. If you start, I think she's still in her 40s, isn't she?
Yeah.
Right. So you are well into your adulthood. I think I said it right. And the thing about it is, there comes a point to where, Tamar, you have to be there for people. You cannot just rely on people to be there for you all the time. But when it's time for you to actually pick up someone else's burden and to help them, you're like, I can't do it because my mental. I'm working on myself. And I'm like, no, Tamar, you need to grow up. That's basically what I get from when this whole this whole thing with Tamar.
And I'll give Trina a little bit as well. She's over here talking about how she stand 10 toes down on how she had nothing to do with it and all this type of stuff. But you sound like you got to ask her a specific question to get a specific answer on, did you give the brother the information for the attorney?
Facts.
Because she's not going to come out and say, I didn't know about the cease and desist, but I did know he asked about X, Y, and Z. So you knew a little bit of something, Trina.
Exactly.
So,
hold on. Let's give Trina a little bit more. All of this is about your ex-husband.
Yeah.
Dude, you get what I'm saying? Like, let's not lose the whole...
And why she feels the need to, like, kind of have some type of defense towards him. I know he passed away.
Yeah.
But, I mean, during the time that we saw, like, she was breaking down crying because of all the stuff that he was running amok doing around town and over the phones.
Exactly.
So I'm just like, it is all very odd to me.
And that's my issue with just the plot for this season. The plot or the issue to me is not about the cease and desist. The plot is, let's start from the beginning. Your ex-husband did this to our niece, and you did not show up in the best way. And guess what? We just trying to find some type of reconciliation. You get what I'm saying? That's all. Who cares about the podcast and things like that? What happens is, it happened to our niece. How are we going to fix this? And how are we going to show up now for her? That's it.
Trina asked if Tamar is going to take some accountability for putting hands on her.
Okay.
So Tamar has some proof that she's going to show. In the middle of them showing the proof, they get into an argument because Trina wants to know if Tamar has seen this footage before. Why is Trina asking that? I really don't know. I don't know why it mattered, honestly.
I guess you're trying to make sure she ain't edited or anything like that, to make sure she ain't tampered with the video. But I thought it was rude that Tamar was not, like, Trina's talking to you and you're not answering her.
Yeah, I mean, that was rude.
Like, that's rude. So that's why I'm like, first of all, let's start with this. This whole argument with who put hands on who, right? I just put hands on Blair. That is not assault.
Well, can I finish the scene?
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
So we get to the producer who comes in and says that this, it's the first time that everybody's seeing it.
Yeah.
Tamar thinks Trina's a liar. She asked Trina, why do you dislike me? And Trina said, because you put your hands on me, you didn't apologize. So they watched the footage back. Trina is separating Toni and Tamar. And Tamar said, she did touch me. Trina was kicked, her hair was pulled, and she wants Tamar to take accountability.
Yeah.
Tamar says that she's always the one in the wrong, and it's taxing when it's a group against her.
What?
If you're telling me your intent was not to put your hands on me, I'll accept that. In the moment, she felt attacked, and her putting her hands on Trina is what she regrets the most, even if you put your hands on me.
Stop right there. This is that whole paragraph you just read right there beautifully is why I can never be a fan of Tamar. It's exactly why I can never be a fan of Tamar. And I don't understand how a lot of people can just like turn a blind eye to how she's basically trying to twist the reality of what happened.
Of what we saw. like, see, I didn't say she like hit me. I'm saying she touched me. You see, she touched me.
No,
you see there's a difference. You want to go into the difference?
First of all, Tamar's whole point is, and listen here, I understand there's people out here that's trying to say literally Trina put her hands on Tamar. Tamar's not lying. But in the context that Tamar is using it in, she's not trying to use it in the same context that Trina put her hands on her. So, for example, I just put my hands on Blair. This is not assault. I know a little bit about law enforcement, okay? This is not assault.
I like it, actually.
Thank you, right? This is not assault, right? Trina did not put her hands on Tamar's shoulder. I give you that. What she did was she used her body as a leverage to separate Toni and Tamar like this. That also is not assault. You can go to a cop right now and they will say that is not assault.
Yeah.
Spitting is assault. You get what I'm saying? Hair pulling is assault. Kicking someone in the Achilles is assault. Is assault. So basically, Tamar wants an apology for Trina putting, hey, Trina, you put your hands on me. And the only way that I'm going to apologize for putting my hands on you is if you apologize for putting your hands on me. But Tamar knows that the way that they put their hands on each other is not the same.
And that's why Trina says she doesn't receive it, because she did not put her hands on Tamar.
Exactly.
And you're telling a story that didn't happen.
Exactly.
Tamar says it's her interpretation, and Trina should have retaliated when Tamar put her hands and feet on her. But Tamar believes that sisters don't get in between sisters like that. You're acting like I was going to do something to Toni, and Toni and Tamar admit that they got into each other's face.
Yeah.
Trina pushing her back. Tamar felt like she got her lick in, but they're telling each other that they take back what they did. Tamar wants to move forward. All of them want to do the same. The next morning, they feel like their sisterhood is improving. And I think this is just the family sweeping things under the rug for the moment, because the core and characteristics of how they operate and how Tamar chooses to see things as an interpretation versus what actually happened is going to always lead to disagreements if we can't agree on video evidence. And also with the sisters feeling the need to be secret, knowing certain things, but you have to ask a specific questions to get a specific answer. This is not open and vulnerable and building a trusting environment for anybody involved.
First of all, let me give Toni some pow, right? It was Toni that was the aggressor, right? You can look at Tamar as the aggressor of the whole conversation because she did like hit the glass towards Towanda and things like that spilled the water. But it was Toni that actually got up in Tamar's face, right? Tamar, hey, guess what? I give you a little bail out of jail, or at least I give you a little bail to put on your books, right? Tamar have every right to defend herself however she sees fit if someone's getting in her face, right? But before that Tamar could respond to Toni, Trina got in the middle, right? It'd be one thing if Trina only put her hands on Tamar, but she didn't. She actually put more of her hands on Toni, right? She did this to Toni and kind of just used her leverage to Tamar. Now, let me give Tamar a little bail out of jail, right? Or just to put on her books. In the moment, it can feel a lot of things.
Yeah.
Because emotions are heightened. You know what I'm saying? Things are, at that moment, you are in fight or flight mode. Who knows, right? So in that moment, you may have thought, you know what? This is Trina's way of getting a lick in on me. I'm going to pull her hair and I'm going to kick her in. I'm going to kick her in the hamstring. Facts, 100%, right? I'm not even going to blame you for that. But you had a chance to look at the footage and you see that, her getting in the middle was not actually getting her lick back. That was her. And then she's telling you, I'm trying to separate you two. So where's your apology, Tamar?
For what happened.
Because guess what? You have every right to perceive whatever you thought in the moment.
But that doesn't excuse.
But you have the laptop now.
Yeah.
You have the laptop and you have the person telling you, forget your perception. This was my intention and this is what I did. So what Tamar should have did, which would have shown us growth, was in the moment I thought you was getting your lick back.
I see that wasn't the case.
That wasn't the case. I'm sorry for pulling your hair, and I'm sorry for kicking you in the back of your knee. You get what I'm saying? But we did not see Tamar do that. We see Tamar basically defend her right to be wrong.
Yeah.
And that's my problem with Tamar.
Yeah.
That's my only problem with Tamar, is that she would defend her right to be wrong because this retreat was not trying to find some common ground that we all could be friends. I basically just want to give y'all the grounds to apologize to me.
Yeah.
Season 3?
That's all I got.
Subscribe, like, share, comment, and hype the video. We see y'all next time.
Bye.